الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيدنا وسندنا ومولانا محمد المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم. آمنت بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا نبي الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا شفيع المذنبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. After praising Allah Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu wa Amma Waluhu, and after sending infinite salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts, the inspirer to our minds, the most honored one, the most revered one, the most praised one, and undoubtedly the most beautiful one, none other than Sayyiduna wa Nabiyyuna wa Habibuna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barak wa sallam. Ramadan is over. This time last week we was very eagerly anticipating and preparing to open our fasts, the final fast of the month of Ramadan. This time last week, many youngsters were in the barber shops, and when they were in the barber shop, they were getting their hair done, sorting their beards out. Many people were running around last minute shopping, whether it was online, whether it was at big flashy superstores and big markets and what do you call them? What's the technical word? Shopping centers, not supermarkets. You can't buy clothes from supermarkets. It's shopping centers. Going there, big brands going and buying them last minute. And Taraweeh had been performed the night before, on Thursday night or Wednesday night. Many people performed Salatul Maghrib. Many people didn't perform Salatul Isha. And Fajr came, they didn't read their Fajr. And everyone ran to read Salatul Eid Salah. And then they had a good chill, a good drive on Great Horton Road. I heard it was heaving on Great Horton Road. I kept myself indoors on Friday night to avoid the fitna out there. whether they left from here and went to Manchester and driving on Winslow Road. I'm sure in Birmingham on Ladypool Road and Allen Rock Road and Coventry Road and all these other roads in Birmingham, they were filled with youngsters with hired cars driving around, chilling, Eid day. And then likewise on Edgware Road in London and all the popular roads, Bury New Road, Bury Road in Luton, and all these places. Alhamdulillah, I've travelled a lot, so I know what are the famous roads in these towns. They spent their Eid like this. Ramadan's over, Shaitan's back in society. It's like everybody was dressing up to welcome Shaitan back. The intention wasn't I'm dressing up because it's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Whether he was dressing up in the aspect of wearing flashy gear, flashy Armani, Gucci, wearing good clothes that covered you. But the intention wasn't clean. It wasn't clear. The intention was, I'm dressing up, it's Eid day, I'm dressing up. Maybe the intention wasn't to welcome Shaitan back. But it seemed as though, very clearly the intention was certainly not to dress for the Sunnah. So they were neither here nor there, and they were in between. And we ask ourselves, why? 1 week has passed on, and we see that the masjids have started to get empty again. It's like, when I say that statement all the time, we are Muslims, when Ramadan comes, we become Ramadan Muslims. It is so true now, that we only leave our Islam to certain months in the year. We leave our Islam to one day in the week, Jummah. And not full day, just Jummah time. Before Jummah we're asleep, after Jummah there's nothing, just Jummah. Yani we are specifying our Islam to days. We become Muslims on Mawlid. Outside of Mawlid there is no Islam. Houses where there was no Mawlids happening, mashallah Mawlids happening, but no Quran is still being read in those houses outside of the Mawlid. No. The point I'm making is becoming very customary in our society, amongst our people, especially the Pakistani culture. It's like a ravaj. It's becoming a tradition. Halanki, it shouldn't be the tradition. That Ramadan comes, we all become Muslim. Ramadan goes, Eid day, she was wearing hijab. Outside of Eid day, she didn't wear hijab. Eid day, everything came off. Eid, man, Eid. And we're becoming very customary. We're just leaving our Islam to that. Whereas Islam isn't just that. People say in Ramadan my iman was on a high. People say I was reading my salah, I was going to the masjid, I was doing zikr, azkar, awrad. I was doing all these things, closing my fast, opening my fast, du'as, there was more Islam. Hazrat, if there's any time in the year for you to practice Islam very easily and very freely, it's Ramadan. It's the best time. No shaitan, no influence, no Satan, nothing. Just you, Allah Almighty, and that little ego inside us that we have to fight. The devil inside us, which is the nafs. That's it. In Ramadan, it's easy. When people say to me, yeah man, Ramadan's coming, it's going to be good. I say, look beyond Ramadan. Ramadan should be that month for us to charge our batteries so strong that it continues and it helps us to maintain our levels of spirituality and Islam outside of the month of Ramadan. Not just 2-3 weeks. Believe me, some people are still on the Ramadan high. They still feel. And how do we maintain? Amazing, isn't it? One way, 30 days you are fasting. I'm certain on Eid day, around 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you felt hungry. I know I did. But I didn't want to eat. I felt hungry, but I didn't want to eat. Why? Because physically, spiritually, my human system was used to the fact that at that time I wasn't eating. My system, my body clock got used to this. My body clock got used to me sleeping after Fajr, not before Fajr. My body clock was used to it. So for the first few days, which I'm certain with the rest of you, you probably stayed up till 2, 3 in the morning. Now you're getting used to, your body clock is getting used to life outside of Ramadan. Ramadan's gone, but it has left many things for us. How many of us are still taking benefit from Ramadan, yet Ramadan has gone? How do we take benefit? The same Quran you was reading in Ramadan is the same Quran outside of Ramadan. What's changed? There's no Ramadan, but the Quran is still there. And the Quran is the greatest of all gifts that Ramadan gave us. Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. The month of Ramadan is that month in which the Quran was revealed. It was sent in this month. Ramadan brought the gift of the Quran. Ramadan brought us the gift of the Quran. Ramadan was Ramadan because of the Quran. Ramadan became Ramadan because of the Quran, nisbat to the Quran, connection to the Quran. Now Ramadan's gone, doesn't mean the Quran went with it. Ramadan comes once in a year, but the Quran is there 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year. The Quran is still there. When the Quran will leave, that is when Qiyamah will be established. When the Quran will leave, when there will be nothing left of the Quran. Nabi alayhi salam said there will come a time when the people will open the Quran, there will be nothing left inside it. And when the last person to do the zikr of Allah, 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 last person, when he will die, Allah Ta'ala will establish Qiyamah now. Establish the day of judgment. The Quran will always be there. It has always been there. Kalamullah, ghair makhluq. The word of Allah is not created. It's always from azal till abad. From eternity, from pre-eternity to eternity. And beyond, the Quran will always be there. And it's the greatest gift that Allah Ta'ala's Habib alayhi salatu wasalam brought to us, that Allah Ta'ala sent to us in the month of Ramadan. The point I'm making is, Ramadan's gone, but the Quran hasn't gone. So why have we closed our Qurans outside of Ramadan then? Why is it we only left opening our Quran? We only open our Qurans and we leave it to Ramadan. Outside of Ramadan, we don't open our Quran. In Ramadan, we had a habit of reading one juz a day. Reading one khatam of the Quran in the month. To finish the Quran once, one khatam. One juz meaning one sipara. One chapter of the Quran. We did this for 30 days. 30 chapters, 30 days, one Quran is complete. That same habit, what you got used to. You see, I'll tell you something. And this is just a suggestion. If how we behave truly in Ramadan, we behave like this on Eid Day. On Eid Day, we read the Quran at the same time as we read on the same days in Ramadan. We read our namaz ba jama'at. We did what we did in the days of Ramadan. Throughout that month, we did it on Eid Day specifically. You would see that man would be boosted. What happens is, people are so spiritually high on Ramadan, but come the end of Eid Day, the iman gets so weak, that they write Facebook posts, I'm still recovering from the Eid party. That's how heavy it was. I'm still recovering, it was too much. That Eid party or that Eid chill, that Eid 1-2 days out he had, that's destroyed every good he had that he earned in the month of Ramadan. That's what it's done. It's just knocked it all out of his system. This is why on Eid Day, it starts on Eid Day, not outside of Eid. It starts on Eid Day. The true test of Iman begins on Eid Day. Like I mentioned, so commonly throughout the day of Eid, on Eid Day, on my Eid Jamaats that I led and I spoke on, do not let Eid al-Fitr become Eid al-Fitna. Do not let your Eid al-Fitr become Eid al-Fitna. See, Eid al-Fitr, the initials are E-U-F. And Eid al-Fitr, the initials are EUF. One is Fitr, you are opening or closing the month of Ramadan by celebrating Eid. And one is Fitna. And how is Eid al-Fitr spent? To welcome shaitan back. The fitna is coming back to society and welcome. Ramadan's gone, but the Quran is still here. Fasting has gone, but the Prophet ﷺ said that in the month of Shawwal, he who fasts 6 days within Shawwal, in this month that we're in now, today we are on the 6th or the 7th, 8th of Shawwal, in the first 10 days of Shawwal, whoever fasts the 6 fasts of the month of Shawwal, then his past sins and his future sins will be forgiven by Allah. So much ajr in fasting in the month of Shawwal. Why Shawwal? Why not Dhul Qa'dah? Why not Dhul Hijjah? Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam knew that he has been fasting all Ramadan, his body is still used to it. If you do 6 more, Allah will forgive all his sins as well. More ajr. That's why Nabi alayhi salam's wisdom was that as soon as Ramadan finishes, Eid day it's makruh to fast on anyway. Outside of Eid day, 6 days he takes out, other than Eid day, and he fasts. He fasts for 6 days and he earns Allah's reward. But it's easy for him. Why? Because he's been doing it for 30 days. And if he's been doing it in Sha'ban, that's preparing. Ramadan, it's like Sha'ban was the warm-up. Ramadan was the main training session. Shawwal is the cool down. You're cooling down. But then Nabi alayhi salam still gave us more. So those who feel fasting, who have benefited through fasting, what do they have? They have Monday and Thursdays to fast. They can fast on Mondays and Thursdays. That's how you maintain the love towards fasting. Why do we fast on Mondays? Why did the Prophet ﷺ fast on Mondays? They were asked, and Sawmi Yawmin Isnain, regarding fasting on the Monday. In Sahih Muslim, the hadith is mentioned. The Prophet ﷺ said, ذَاكَ يَوْمْ وُلِدْتُ فِيهِ. Monday was the day that I was born on. And out of gratitude to Allah Almighty, I fast out of shukr. Shukr. Thanking Allah, I fast on Monday. I fast on the Monday. And not only that, was I born on Monday, but Nabi alayhi salam entered Medina Sharif on Monday. Nabi alayhi salam left his dunya on Monday. Now the Quran was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on a Monday. Monday is a very special day. Nabi alayhi salam said fast Monday. Voluntarily, it's a choice, option. You do it, Allah will give you ajr. You don't do it, there is no punishment. Why did they fast on Thursdays? There's a hadith the Prophet ﷺ said on Thursdays, the a'mal are presented to Allah Almighty. The actions of the ummah are presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Almighty sees, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, that I desire and I wish that my actions are presented to Allah Almighty and I'm in the state of fasting, which is the best of states. This is why Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would fast on Mondays and Thursdays. They would fast the 13th, the 14th and the 15th of every month, Islamic month. These are the nights or the days when the moon is at its peak. Look, in science, you have lunar and solar. The Islamic calendar is found upon the lunar calendar. The lunar cycle, not the solar cycle. It's founded upon the lunar. What is lunar? Based around the moon. The Islamic calendar is based around the moon. The Georgian calendar is based around the sun, the solar system. The lunar system is what the Islamic calendar is based on. And Islamically, our months begin according to the moon. So, when is the full moon? The full moon is the 14th, 13th, 14th or 15th night. That's the full moon. And then when the moon starts to go down and the crescent appears, then the new month starts. And that's the cycle. That's the cycle. Nabi alayhi salam said fast on the 13th, 14th and the 15th. They would fast themselves. 13th, 14th, 15th, three days there. 12 months in a year. 3 times 12 is 36 days there. Monday and Thursday, 2 times 52 is 104 plus 36 is 140. Then 30 days in Ramadan is 170. And then Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would also fast voluntarily the 9th and 10th of Ashura, Muharram al-Haram. These were fast Nabi alayhi salam would always keep. 9th and 10th is at 140, 172. And then on the day of Hajj, Yawm al-Arafah, they fasted. Nabi alayhi salam said fast 172, 173. And then in Sha'ban, Nabi alayhi salam fasted more in this month than any other month. So it's possible Nabi alayhi salam fasted one day, missed one day, 15 days there. That is 173 plus 15, 188. And how many days are there in a year? 365. Over half the year Nabi alayhi salam would fast. If we look at it, analyze the prophetic fasting, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, put these numbers together, over half the year Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would fast. And Nabi alayhi salam, if we read the prophetic diet of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we see Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's beloved wives would say that we would go months sometimes, months, that we would live off dates and water. Dates, water and dried bread. That's it. That was our diet. Sometimes months would pass by and we would have that much. Yani Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam didn't promote excessive eating. Ramadan, not only does it have many spiritual benefits, many Islamic benefits, but when non-Muslims ask you what is Ramadan, say it has many very physical benefits. It should reduce your cholesterol, the calorie intake, it should reduce these things. What's happening though in Ramadan, come iftar and sahri, especially sahri, budiye paranthe pakai de. That's what happened. Budiye paranthe pakai de. You think paranthe kam ho jaan, the zyada khane pe. Ramzan mean, you think you cut down on paranthe. He says, budiye aur pakai de. Paranthe ka mean, this is the month of pancakes. You think they're going to cook down this, they're fasting. But it's, see, our systems are not used to fasting. The person's system who is used to fasting, he'll eat a little bit and he'll go the entire day. They will go the entire day. And remember in the Prophet ﷺ's time, there was no daylight, 1 hour daylight saving hours. You don't have that daylight saving hour. In this country, we have that 1 hour. They add and then they take away in the summer months. In Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's time, imagine the weather, imagine everything, how Nabi alayhi salam would fast, how they would maintain and cook. But Nabi alayhi salam throughout the year were prepared for this. We only prepare ourselves, we don't prepare, we don't do no preparation, we jump straight into the deep end. And then we struggle. And then outside of Ramadan, we can't maintain. We just find it hard to maintain. And how do you maintain? You maintain by attending lectures. The more Islamic lectures, the more you throw yourself into Islamic environments. An Islamic environment. You know, people say shisha, this. One of the biggest arguments I have against shisha is this. That how much of that environment is Islamic? How much of it is an Islamic environment? Music is blaring, free mixing is occurring. Openly you can flirt, all these things. All of these things are happening. When you throw yourself in non-Islamic environments, then that negative energy that is surrounding you, eventually it influences you. Before you know it, you become it. We think we can handle, unless you have strong spiritual energy. Until you have strong Islamic energy, when you go into that environment, if you have weak Islamic energy, you're going to be affected and think, no. A mu'min, when he enters into a non-Islamic environment, you know, in his heart, he has ill feeling. He says, I don't belong here. this ain't for me. I'm a Muslim, I don't belong in a nightclub. I don't belong in a pub. I don't belong in a bookies. I don't belong in a shisha lounge. I'm a Muslim. My Imam doesn't like this. His Iman talks. That's the energy of his Iman. The strength of his Iman. But when his Iman becomes weak, and see we are strong now, 6 months, you see you should always check your Iman. Question your Iman. Judge your Iman. See how is the Iman working. We don't do this. You see, look, you know when we was kids, we was in school, they used to give us these reports that we could follow. Self-assessment sheets. They give you the self-assessment. Hazrat, why can't we do self-assessment as Muslims? You know, in tariqat, in tasawwuf, in suluk, in spirituality, there was a great Imam who came. His name was Imam Haris ibn al-Asad al-Muhasibi. Imam al-Muhasibi rahimahullah, he was a master of self-assessment. He had something called muhasabah. And his muhasabah concept, this basically translates to a self-assessment, was founded upon a saying. The saying was, hasibu qabla an tuhasabu. Do your own hisab before hisab will be done upon you. What does hisab mean? Calculate yourself before you will be calculated. Question yourself before you will be questioned. Account yourself before you will be accounted. You'll be held accountable. First, and this can apply to everything. Account yourself before your father accounts you. Your wife accounts you. Judge yourself before others will judge you. Imam Haris al-Muhasibi rahmatullah said, live on this. He said, do self-assessment before you will be assessed. Assess yourself before you will be assessed. That's what hasibu qabla an tuhasabu. Assess yourself before you will be assessed. Because when the day of assessment, the day of judgment, you will be assessed. Allah will assess every one of us. He will ask you. So before that day, ask yourself everything. Assess yourself now. And if you've done wrong, do tawbah, Allah will forgive. And what Allah has forgiven, He will not question you about. How merciful is Allah Almighty? How merciful is He? That when you have asked Allah to forgive, He says, okay, I won't ask you about it. I've forgiven you in the dunya. This is why we ask Allah that, oh Allah, grant us sincere tawbah before we die. Before we die, let us repent sincerely to you. Hasibu qabla an tuhasabu. Assess yourself before you will be assessed. Before you will stand before Allah to be assessed. We need to do self-assessment. How am I today? And how will I, and after 6 months, after 3 months, after 1 month, after a week, assess yourself again. Assess yourself. Islam came to assess us. Not Islam is not something when you feel like it, yeah man, I'll read my namaz. When you don't feel like it, you won't read. Islam has said, and it teaches us to assess ourselves. To be conscious at all times. And that's another way of maintaining the level of spirituality after Ramadan. Join a weekly dhikr gathering. Make this niyyah every week. I will go and sit in a gathering where Allah's dhikr is done. Where Allah Almighty is remembered, I will sit to be one of those who remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one gathering. Make it a habit that you read Jum'ah on time. For Jum'ah namaz, you are there in front of Saf. For Jum'ah, you are there early. You're not there at the time of khutbah. As many young people are, last minute, yeah, I got there, right at the end. Jum'ah ta ho gaya. You didn't read no sunnahs, nothing, you missed the khutbah, you got the Jum'ah. Halaki listening to the khutbah is a condition of Jum'ah. It's one of the conditions of Jum'ah. You have to listen to this khutbah. Many people turn up late. Hazrat, you will never improve until you don't have this willpower. You know, this himmat inside you, this willpower is what will improve you. And that's what we need. Just as we have willpower on each day to go and chill, just as we have willpower to go and earn money, we have the strength to do that. We should have the willpower and strength, the mental, the spiritual and physical strength to devote this time and energy towards the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what we should do. The same attention you put there, you should put there as well. That's how it should be. And it's willpower. In the end, Hazrat, you can get psyched by listening to Imam Asim and other speakers. You can get psyched. You can get boosted. It's a good boost. But it's a temporary boost. It's just for that moment. You come, you go. When you will leave, it'll go back to normal. How do you maintain this boost? How does a person maintain this level? If he reads his tasbih all the time, it is zikr of Allah. When he wears a turban, what does a turban do? It instills that thing on him. I'm wearing an imamah. I'm wearing the crown of a believer. This is the crown of the angels. The angels wear this. When he grows a beard and he wears a jubbah, then he starts to feel his conscience talks and says, you can't do wrong. And it begins to change him slowly. That's one of the benefits of wearing a turban. That's why many people say, I don't want to keep a beard, I don't want to wear a turban because when I feel responsible. Well, why don't you feel responsible? Why don't you do it and get the responsibility and it changes you? We don't take these steps. Until you don't take these steps, the change doesn't come. This is why it's important that we maintain these things. We try our utmost and try our best to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't earn the displeasure of Allah, earn the pleasure of Allah. Earn the pleasure of Allah Almighty. Make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy. I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala gives us all tawfiq to maintain a high level of iman outside the month of Ramadan. And that Allah ta'ala forgives our major and minor sins and gives us tawfiq to continue to read the Quran throughout the entire year, not just in the month of Ramadan. And that Allah strengthens our iman. Now and again we all need a boost. You know, when a person is having a cardiac arrest, heart attack, what do they have in the ambulances? What they have this, what do you call that? Defibrillators. What's the job? It resuscitates. It tries to find a heartbeat. It shocks your system. We as Muslims at all times need these shocks in our system. We need these reminders. Allah in the Quran said, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And remind them. For indeed reminders are what benefit the believers. The believers are in constant need of reminders. We are in constant need of resuscitation. Our iman goes dead sometime. It goes weak. I mean, nobody's iman goes dead. That we have iman, even if it's a little bit of iman. Nabi alayhi salam, who said, whoever has an atom's amount of iman in his heart, Allah Ta'ala will eventually enter him into Jannah. Even an atom's amount. An atom's amount of iman, Allah will put him into Jannah. Ya Allah, if we don't have iman kamil, we make dua that Allah gives us iman kamil. Allah give us even an atoms of iman. And that iman we live on. Allah give us tawfiq to strengthen our iman. To make our iman strong. Just as a building needs the structure to be strong, our iman needs a structure. The structure of our iman is our a'mal. Our deeds are the structure of our iman. If our deeds are weak, then the structure is weak. If the structure is weak, the building will collapse. And if the building collapses, then iman collapses. And when iman collapses, that person is lost. When the person is lost, he enters into darkness. When he enters into darkness, he can't see no light. When he's in darkness, he's in nightclubs. When he's in darkness, he earns haram money. He enters into darkness. How does light come into his life? When he does good deeds. When he has the right aqidah. When these things happen, that person, nur enters his heart. And when he enters into nur, zulumat leaves, darkness leaves. And when that person, nur enters his heart is illuminated. Allah gives him so much nur to some people that they have the ability to give nur to other people. They illuminate other people. People around them are illuminated. This is the power. Oh Allah, accept what we have said. Forgive us for any wrong, for all wrong is from ourselves. All good is from Allah and His Habib. Sayyiduna wa Nabiyyuna Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The du'as of our parents and the nigahs of our shuyukh. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.